Good morning, thanks for joining me. I hope everybody's well and having a good week. 2020 has been a bit of a year, hasn't it? I think it's fair to say that all of us, very much myself included, have had some ups and downs emotionally and mentally this year. I think there's not a single one of us that would say that they've had a great year in 2020. And today's video is about when things are bad and you're down. You guys know I had a really bad week the other week. When things are bad, some of the things you can do to get yourself back on track, sort of getting back to basics even, self-care, looking after yourself, making sure that the external things that we can control are in the best place that they can be to help our emotional and mental well-being to get back on track. That was a quite long-winded explanation, wasn't it? Never mind, let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is journaling, and journaling is something that I started this year. I've done it in various ways, just writing down my thoughts, writing down daily gratitudes, and most recently I've been using an app which has been a little bit different and something new and something that I've enjoyed and I wanted to talk to you about. And the name of the app is Jour, as in the first four letters of journal, and also French for day. Don't know why I felt the need to explain that to you. I'm sure you figured that out yourselves. But that's the name of the app, and I'd like to thank Jour for sponsoring this part of the video. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this app, and I like the idea of it because I think anybody who's new to journaling and isn't big on writing down you're faced with a blank sheet of paper, it can be a little bit intimidating and you don't quite know where to start. And what I really like about this app is that it's great for people who are beginners to coming to journaling for the first time and not quite sure where to go with it. It's a guided thing, so it asks open-ended questions which you can answer, and it very much helps you get on the way and start thinking about the things that maybe you can improve in your life or aren't going so well. And it's really good. I've been using it for about 2 weeks now and I'm really enjoying it. It's an app which is suitable for Apple devices only, I believe. So it works on iPhone or iPad. It gives you daily prompts, something different every day. It asks you how you're feeling and then it picks up on your answer to that and starts digging a little bit deeper into why you're feeling that way and what you can do to overcome any struggles and that sort of thing. And it literally takes me 5 minutes a day. I do it when I get into bed at night and I go through the 5-minute thing, and it saves it all so you can look back on it later on, so you can look back on your whole week or your whole month or whatever. And it's based around CBT, which is cognitive behavioural therapy, which I've read a little bit about in the past, and it sort of helps you recognise patterns of thought and behaviour that maybe aren't the best for you, but in a very accessible way. It's really user friendly, it's really easy to use. I don't find it too small on the phone screen, which is my problem with a lot of apps. I don't have an iPad, so I do everything on my phone, and I found it really well laid out and easy to access. It also has extra little exercises you can do. There's one that I really like about sleeping, which I sometimes do before bed to encourage a good night's sleep, get things off your mind, and it has some breathing exercises which are good for mindfulness and all sorts of bits and pieces. So you can do just your 5 minutes a day, or you can do more than that and dig deeper into it. And I love the fact it saves all your entries so you can look back and recognise sort of themes and patterns and all that sort of thing. I've done a little screen recording of me using the app, not putting in true information. It's just for the purposes of making this video. So I'm going to show you that. I was going to do a voiceover with it, but I feel like it's easier for you to see it and take it in with music over the... So I'm going to pop that in for you now to have a look at. final thought on journaling before we move on to some of my other top tips is that apparently journaling can make it, in any form, can make you up to 42% more likely to achieve your goals. I thought that was a really interesting statistic and food for thought. So I'll put the link for Jour in the description box below for downloading it, and all the information will be down there if you're interested. You can get a 7-day free trial to see if it's something you think you're interested in, something for you. So yes, all the information down there. So now let's move on to some other top tips. My next tip, which is a really, really basic one, is water. Drink your water. I'm so bad at this time of year at drinking my water, and I've had to make it part of my morning routine. When I go into the kitchen and tidy up and empty the dishwasher and all that, I make sure to have my water bottle out on the side so I remember to fill it up, and then when I go through to the office I take it with me and make sure it's empty at lunchtime and refill it when I make my lunch. So I've got my 2 big bottles of water every day and I make sure to drink them. Find it really easy to forget at this time of year. I'm good in the spring and summer because I'm more thirsty, but drinking my water at this time of year is hard. So just building that into my daily routine and making sure that my bottle is there and I can see it just encourages me to drink more water. The next one, and again it's a really basic one, in fact to be honest almost everything on my list is basic, is fresh air. Even if all you do is open your window and lean out of it for 10 minutes, get some fresh air every day. I find it really, really helps. Even when it's raining, I try and open my window and lean out of it, sit by the window and have a cup of coffee, or if it's warm enough, I'll pop my coat on and sit outside on my balcony and have a cup of coffee if I'm not going to be going anywhere else that day. But just to get that fresh air, breathe it in, it does make a difference. It does really help. And of course, fresh air and getting the I was going to say the sun, but getting UV light of any description from the sky at this time of year onto your skin can only be a good thing for vitamin D. Vitamin D is being proven now to be helpful in the fight against COVID, so I'm very keen on vitamin D, and if we can get it from natural sources, even better than taking it in tablet form. So fresh air is lots of reasons why we need fresh air and why it's good for us. Next thing is something that I'm not brilliant at, but it's exercise. Feels so much better when I get out for a walk, particularly. I walk on the treadmill if it's too awful and I can't face going out in awful weather, which we're getting a lot of at the moment, but actually getting out in the fresh air and going for a walk. See, that's 2 things in one. Walk in the fresh air, you get your fresh air and you get your exercise. What's not to like? But yeah, exercise of some description, if you can force yourself to do it, apparently releases endorphins. I'm yet to find any endorphins from it, but I do feel pleased when I've done it, pleased with myself. One thing that I find encourages me to want to exercise more, walk more anyway, is my step count on my watch. I like to see that going upwards and heading towards that 10,000 steps a day. It doesn't always make it. In fact, it doesn't make it more days than it does, but the closer I can get, the better I feel about it. The next thing I find really helpful is having a plan for my day, to even if it's just 3 things on a bit of paper or inside my head that I want to get done, and achieving them and crossing them off the list, whether it's inside your head or on paper or on a whiteboard, however you make your lists, it just makes you feel as though you've done something. It gives you a sense of control. I like a sense of control, and there's a lot of stuff out there in that world at the moment that none of us can control, we have to be honest. So giving ourselves a bit of control back and feeling productive, that we've got something done, can only be a good thing. And it doesn't matter what it is that you get done. It could be simple as get out of bed, empty the dishwasher, watch 3 episodes of I'm a Celebrity. Just that crossing stuff off is helpful. Have a plan for your day, plan on what you want to do. I follow a couple of people on Instagram who write their daily plans in their Instagram stories, and they're not always full of productive things like that are related to work. Sometimes it's as simple as, you know, have some porridge for breakfast, or just simple things. Have those things on a list and you will feel like you've achieved if you get them done. The next thing is sort of related to the previous thing, and it's to make sure, and I'm not great at this, I've got better at this recently, but make sure that on that list of things you want to accomplish for the day, have something nice on it. Long hot bath with nice bath oil, or watch 3 episodes of I'm a Celebrity. Spend an hour lying in bed reading my book. Anything you like that makes you feel good, that is a nice thing, that is for you. Prioritise that. Make that part of your daily plan. Make it an important part. If necessary, make it the main thing you want to focus on that day and get that done, because looking after ourselves, we so often as women put ourselves at the bottom of any lists, and I think as well when we're aging we need to have that time for ourselves and make sure we're in that age that a lot of us still have kids that we are, you know, not necessarily looking after on a day-to-day basis, but supporting financially and emotionally and all of those things. And a lot of us have grandchildren that we look after, that we do childcare for. A lot of us have aging parents who need help, and so easily you put yourself at the bottom of the pile, and it's important just to take that time for yourself and make sure that you make yourself a priority. The next one is sleep, and believe me, I can't give you any recommendations on how to have a good night's sleep, because this year has been my worst year of sleep ever. I go from being awake, or I find it quite easy to drop off. Mostly I can drop off to sleep, but I wake up and then I can be awake for hours and hours, and it's just the worst, isn't it? Lack of sleep really can bring your mood down. So we all know the drill, don't we? Don't use screens before bed, hot milky drinks, warm baths, relaxing routine, go to bed at the same time every night. Sleep is something that is not great for me at the moment, but I do know that on the nights when I sleep really well, I feel so much better the following day. So if you guys have tips for sleep, please leave them short of sleeping pills, obviously, although believe me, I've even thought about that route on some of my worst nights this year. 2 more tips to share with you, and the first one is social contact. We all have different living situations. I am lucky in that I don't live alone. I live with my husband, although sometimes, you know, I wonder if the alternative would be preferable. I'm kidding. I don't really at all, bless him. I wouldn't know what to do without him. We are all in different living situations, but I think for all of us, some sort of social contact, particularly for those living alone, social contact is so important. It's the thing that I have felt most bereft of during this second lockdown. So do whatever you can do. We are still allowed to go out for a walk in England at the moment during lockdown with one person from another household. So get out for a walk with a friend if you can, if you're missing that social contact. Use Zoom and all the video conferencing apps. They're not the same as real personal getting together for a coffee or lunch, but they are a second best, is what we can do at the moment. Have those long phone chats with a friend. Make a thing of it. You know, plan a telephone conversation or a Zoom chat with a friend or a couple of friends. Make a plan. You can maybe have lunch together while you're all chatting, or a lovely cup of coffee. I had a really nice video chat with Kirsten last week, and we made a plan to do it at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday morning or whatever it was, and I made myself a really nice frothy coffee and sat and chatted, and it was just nice to... It felt like a proper coffee morning almost, and it does lift the spirits. So social contact of whatever kind you can get or works for you, make that a priority. It's really important. We all need human connections in our lives so much. The final thing on my list is perhaps a bit of a difficult one at the moment, but it's one of the things that I live by, and that it's one of the things that I've also struggled with this year, and that is having things to look forward to. They can be big things, they can be little things, but just having something to look forward to in your diary. frankly, the only thing in my diary at the moment is medical appointments, which is depressing enough in itself, isn't it? But just something, a lunch with a friend, or and I know it's difficult to do these things during these times of lockdown, but something like I've just referred to, you know, a chat via Zoom or whatever, but it doesn't have to be a big thing like a holiday, and frankly, who knows when holidays are going to get back to normal. So, but just try and have something to look forward to and focus on. Having things to look forward to is so important. I'm going to book a night away with my mum. We always do something in January together, and boy, she needs a break from my dad in the nicest possible way. And we always have 2 nights away in January. I'm planning to increase it next year, and we're going to just drop it down to 1 night, but do it more regularly. We've always done it once a year up till now. But I think popping those dates into the diary, even if we don't know that we're going to be able to do those things then, gives us a focus, and we know that we will do them at some point as soon as we physically can, you know. Sorry, my frog in my throat. So yeah, I think that's really important as well. Anyway, that brings us to the end of my, I don't know what I'm going to call this. It was originally called 10 self-care tips for troubled times. That's a good bit of alliteration, isn't it? It might be called something else by the time we get to it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that or found something useful. If you guys have any more tips that you'd like to share with us that keep you on an even keel through these troubled times, please do let us all know in the comments. As I said, the information about Jour, the app, I will pop in the description box below, and thanks again to them for sponsoring that part of this video. Hope you've enjoyed this, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.